Aegean Island reveals beginnings of ancient Greek civilization. I often get asked the question, Max, why do you go to garbage tier news outlets like Drudge Report and the Daily Star? Daily Star and the Sun and all these? Because this is where you find scientific information directly relating back to the Bible. Let's take a look at this article. They found an island and they dated actually back to where the pyramids are. They dated about the same age. Let's take a look at the article and see what they have to say here. A mysterious pyramid as old as Stonehenge has been discovered on a tiny Greek island. Now, Stonehenge is the oldest thing that I believe that they believe it's the oldest man-made structure. I'm not positive on that, but we're going to run with it. The long-buried structure dating back at least 4,600 years. What do we know that happened around 4,600 years ago? A big old flood happened? Something like that? Long-buried structure dating back at least 4,600 years was constructed of marble transported from nearby Aegean islands on tiny wood ships. Okay, so this is the structure here. I have a question. Why do you assume that there was always water around it? Because isn't it kind of silly to build a building in the middle of the water? You're going to get to this building that you built by boat. Why would you do that instead of building a bridge? It's not very far. How did all this grass and this erosion happen on top of this structure? Maybe it was underwater. Could be. Could be. Quote, "It is by far the largest prehistoric marine transport operation that has ever come to light anywhere in the world," says Dr. Julian Whitewright, a leading maritime archaeologist at the University of Southampton, told The Independent. It demonstrates quite clearly just how important and integral to their culture seafaring was to these early Bronze Age Aegean people. The huge quantity of white marble was shipped from Naxos, an island some 6.5 miles away. Based on illustrations of early Greek sailing craft and on Bronze Age pottery, archaeologists estimate that it would have required over 3,500 trips with 24 sailors rowing solidly for 5 hours in the open water. The Greeks built a huge structure using up to 10,000 tons of marble, completely transforming the shape of the island of Keros, known today as Daskalio. Question: why would they do that? Again, why would they build a structure what's surrounded by water like that that's not a military emplacement? They can tell it was a temple. Maybe the water wasn't there. Maybe if you look underneath the water, a short distance from where this temple is, I bet you're going to find that marble. I bet that it wasn't 6 miles away. Just guessing. Because, there's an island here now. There must have been an island here thousands of years ago, too. See, these are brilliant people, smart archaeologist people, but they're stuck. They're stuck. I have to explain it using evolution. I have to explain it using uniformitarianism, which means what I see in front of me today is the way that it's always been going on since the dawn of time. They retard their own thinking, okay? They go backwards in their own thinking. They're smarter than this, but they know these are the rules they have to use to try to explain what their find is. Also, they have to explain it in such a way to get funding to do what they need to do. Elsewhere on the island, archaeologists have found innumerable knives, tools, small sculptures, which may have been left as offerings by those visiting the island. Isn't this supposed to be primitive man times? Where they didn't have language? And they spoke in grunts? I don't know. They change their story on that all the time. It was a part of a worldwide explosion of monumental building. The ruined pyramid of Daskalio is roughly the same age as Stonehenge, the lost city of Eridu in Iraq, and the earliest pyramids in Egypt. Oh, and you know what they all have in common? They all look eroded like they were underwater. I'm going to go ahead and say that these are the remnants of the civilization that existed before the flood. The pyramid architecture seems to have occurred independently to the Greeks and the Egyptians. How odd is that? Huh? Two groups of people that are separated, they come up with the same ideas. They didn't have the internet back then. They couldn't Google it, how to build a pyramid. Because all these people were doing it in the Tower of Babel. They all had the same language. They know how to build stuff. They weren't dumb. I'm guessing that this would be pre-flood, though, so not Tower of Babel yet, but they knew how to build stuff. When Daskilo was newly built, the white marble structure would have been an amazing sight to the seafarers in the region, and almost certainly a site of major religious significance across the region. Creation myths of many early cultures revolve around a mountain emerging from the chaos of the sea, and it is possible that Daskilo was intended to represent that first land. Creation myths. I wonder who they're talking about here, because it doesn't say anything like that in the Bible. But as you can see from the picture here, this is Daskilo. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Daskalio. This is it right here. Again, a question. This has to be for seafaring people, right? Why don't they just build a bridge here? Right? 10,000 tons of marble they used to create this little island to put their temple on, but they don't have a bridge so people can get to it. Better idea, they would build their temple next to the materials to have the temple. And at one time it was not underwater. Makes a little bit more sense. Quote, it is a potentially and fundamental place of origin for the phenomenon of sacred mountains within the Greek world, says Dr. Alan Peatfield of University College Dublin School of Archaeology, who is a renowned expert on Greek mountaintop sanctuaries. That's a lot of letters to put after your degree. I got my master's in Greek mountaintop sanctuaries. Michael Boyd of Cambridge University's MacDonald Institute for Archaeological Research, who is a co-director of the investigation, told The Independent, our investigation has been transforming our understanding of early Bronze Age Cyclidic culture and suggests that these very early Greeks were organizationally, do it the European way, technically and politically much more advanced than previously thought. Us Christians have been saying this for, 1,000 years now? 2,000 years? We don't believe this garbage of man being a caveman, ugga, with a club. We don't believe this stuff. That's another thing against Noah. There is no way Noah could have the knowledge and the ability and the tools to build the ark. Really. With God telling him the exact dimensions and recording that stuff in the Bible, and scientists taking that dimensions and saying that that's the perfect boat that you could build. It's the exact dimensions that we use today for big boats. Okay, you got that. And you have proof that people back in this time were working with metal. They knew how to build big buildings. We couldn't build the pyramids today if we wanted to. They knew how to do it. Then they got flooded out a little bit. They got a little rain that day and wiped them out. And I guess that is the end of the article. So yes, as you can see, because of uniformitarianism and because of the garbage you're taught in college, rather than reach a logical conclusion that this place where this temple stands was not always covered by water, we have to go to this idea that, well, there's water here today, therefore there must have been water here 4,600 years ago. And they must have used boats, because the next place that is above water is 6 miles away. You get me down there and I go, well, let's look under the water. Let's see what kind of rock is under here. There's probably, why wouldn't there be a bridge? Simple things. No, because we're stuck in this evolutionary mindset of Earth being 6 billion years old and first people, 20,000 years ago or whatever they say. It changes. It's been 25 years almost since I've been in high school, so I don't know what they're saying anymore. But they're saying the pyramids used to be like 60,000 years old. Then they were 28,000 years old. Now, this article here is saying they're 4,600 years old. As the oldest structures that we have, Stonehenge, the pyramids, and now this, 4,600 years old. It gets younger and younger and younger. And they tell me not to believe my Bible. Ha! With that, we're going to be out of here.